The Gallagher Shots podcast is sponsored by Tyre Spot, the North East's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel and podcast. And we are here. It is Sunday morning. It's a spontaneous podcast with myself, Kris, who is joined by Deka once again. And we are going to be talking about the fallout from Newcastle United's first pre-season game, which, despite everybody being excited for this one, Newcastle kind of had the horses handed to them. There's some caveats that go with that. It was Newcastle, like I said, it was Newcastle's first pre-season game. It was Celtic's fifth, I believe. Celtic's season starts in 2 weeks' time, I believe it is. So I think, as always, with pre-season games, Deka, you have to just take them with a pinch of salt and realize that it's all about basically getting minutes in the legs and just getting the players out there, okay? That doesn't stop you being disappointed with the result, though, does it?
Honestly, you've said everything that I was thinking and feeling last night, and I mean, I watched the game, and going into the game, I was like, the result's not important, but no fan joined. I mean, look at them 10,000 that travelled, right? They ain't travelling up there just to see, let's get some minutes in the legs. Nobody wants to see your team get beat, but especially in the way the manner some of the goals were, even though it's pre-season, it's still a bit like I was watching it going, Jesus, lads, like this is bad, but I agree with you that it was Celtics. I mean, Celtic, the next time they play at home is their their game of the season. Yeah. So they're obviously a lot ahead of schedule, and I understand that. And it was telling, but still disappointed in the result, though. Do you know what I mean? No doubt.
So they're a couple of weeks ahead of Newcastle in regards to preparation to start a competitive season. Whereas Eddie Howe, as just like what you always see with preseason games, it wasn't the strongest side. Nobody was expecting the strongest side. Half time comes and there's mass changes at half time, but there's a couple of moments in the game, and yes, we will get onto the major talking point, which was the fact that Isak was missing from the team, but we'll get onto that towards the end because I want to talk about the game itself first of all before we talk about the whole circus which is going on behind the scenes. So it was very sloppy, Deka, which is something you probably expect. Yes, there was moments in the game where we looked okay, we're passing the ball well, we did look okay, but there was some signs that we saw from last season as well. I want to mention Joe Willock. Joe Willock, yeah, he I don't even know where to start with Joe Willock. Do you know what it is? I really want Joe to do well, and I have done for years, and we've seen glimpses of it. It just didn't work for him yesterday. A couple of incorrect decisions. The penalty that he gives away, Deka, it's schoolboy stuff. Absolute schoolboy, and it was frustrating to watch at times.
Yeah, well, he did a foul. I think it was around about 5 minutes before that, maybe even shorter than that, actually.
The one on the halfway line.
On the halfway line, yeah, and I was like, whoa, like that's a bad one. And then it felt like minutes later he then goes and does that. But I've been criticised by a few people, certainly some of my mates and that always say I've got a problem with Willock. I think the problem I've got, he doesn't play very well. That's the problem I've got. Like, we all know the player that's there, right? You go back to when he came on loan, scored all those goals to keep up. You've then got that sort of period where the Tottenham 6-2 always sticks in my mind. He had a really, really good run of games then. But we haven't seen the Willock that we know for, I'd have to say, about 2 seasons. So, and then yesterday, I mean, again, it is only the first game, but some of the things you mentioned about, like, some of the things we have to pick up on, I thought, again, we ran out of ideas pretty easily. Like, we didn't really know how to break a team down. The only thing I thought we did do well, we did press from the front really well, which is what we're known for. And I thought Celtic took a lot of risks at the back. They were passing around, like, risky. I thought would catch them at some point in the game. Obviously, we didn't. But, but I just think that the Willock thing and that the penalty was so sloppy. We've got another goal, which, my lord, we'll come on to shortly. There was just a lot of mistakes, wasn't there? But maybe you're right. Maybe, listen, it's the first pre-season game. They've just came back away from, like, a team bonding thing. there's going to be a bit of rust, isn't there? So
of course there is. I'm not, do you know what it is? I'm not getting too worried about it. I know in the Telegram group, which members do have access to. Yesterday, it may came across I was being a bit negative in that group, but really at the end of the day, it's preseason. I'm not that arsed about the result. Yes, if it's the penultimate game before the season starts, then you're putting that sort of performance out. Then yes, I'm going to be worried. Of course I am. But the first one, it's honestly, it's I'm not.
We're not
going
to look back at this, mate. We're not going to be play it, in December and go, remember that Celtic 4-0. It's not going to happen.
And we'll be in this situation before, Deka. Pre-season games. Remember Leighton Orient absolutely smashed with at one point. Then we went. I think that was the season we finished 5th on our Pardew afterwards. Mm-hmm. It's happened. It's happened previously, and it'll happen again going forward. It is what it is. But we're going to have to talk about the next goal, Deka, because the next goal, I think it just highlights the fact, the need of a goalkeeper. Yes, we know Nick Pope is a great shot stopper. Nobody's denying that. Of course they're not. He pulls off a great save where the ball comes in the box. Fabian Shaw sticks his knee at it just to stop it going to the Celtic player behind him. And an instinctive save from Pope. That's what you get from him.
Yep.
You also see the worst of Nick Pope as well, where he's forced to come off his line and he completely misjudges that ball. Similar to if you look at the Liverpool game a couple of seasons back where he gets that red card, he's just mistiming it and it flies over his head.
It's just
comical.
I'm going to try and give him a bit of credit. I am going to say I do think he's okay at that normally. I do. I appreciate the Liverpool one you've rightfully said, and yesterday it was bad. But I do find he comes off his line and is able to header it away, or he does that quite well. But I mean, it was absolutely comical. Like, it was dreadful. And it is. I still think, for all I've given him a little bit of sort of credit there, it is what we talk about weekly, right? In terms of the anxiety. Oh, there's the cat. The anxiety of the ball coming.
For those that listen to the audio, he's not talking about Nick Pope. There's a cat. I've got a kitten which has just jumped on top of us.
When the ball gets played to him, or we have to rely on him doing something which does not involve his hands, we'll panic. And I mean, it was just horrific, wasn't it, yesterday? That goal, and I felt for him. But overall, I do think he's not too bad at that. If I'm honest, coming out and trying to.
I think it kind of summed the afternoon up, didn't it? Really, that moment where you're thinking, it is what it is. And I was more disappointed for like you said, the 10,000 fans that have travelled there. Which was a hard watch. We had a couple of our lads that were there as well, and they left that ground thinking, Jesus Christ, that was tough. Yeah. Yes, everybody is aware of its preseason, but it's still a tough watch.
The commentator said during the game, I don't know if you heard it or not, that since they've had the rebrand of the stadium, or the slight changes, it's the highest away attendance they've ever had. Which is it's incredible, right, for a preseason friendly, and massive credit to everybody that went down up there. But yes, I mean, when you're watching that game, we've been there many years ourselves when we went away from home, and you travel and you're on the beers all day thinking, great football. I can imagine them thinking football's back, it's going to be mint, and then bang, Isak's not there, 4-0 down. You're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Do you know what is that? I'm guessing you watched it via Celtic TV as well, because that's the commentary which I had on. Because I think, do you know what it is? I think it was a disgrace the club charged as much as what they have done for the preseason stuff. It's horrendous. But that's a whole different discussion. So those that went to Celtic, it was tough for you watching it. For those that were listening to the commentators via Celtic TV, it was tough for us as well, because those were the most two miserable blokes I have ever heard in my life that constantly had Isak on his way out. The whole stream and the whole commentary was based. Well, there's a lot of mentions of Isak's on his way out. He must be on his way out. He's not featured in the team. Blah 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 blah. Which leads us to the next point. And like I said, this is probably the major fallout from yesterday. Isak wasn't featured in the squad. Apparently, he did go to Glasgow, but I'm assuming the flight from Austria landed in Glasgow. The team have gone there. Then that's when Isak's being sent home. Joe Linton stuck around, even though Joe Linton's minutes are being managed as well. Eddie Howe said it just wasn't correct, and he made the decision to send Isak home. We'll go through the quotes in a little bit more detail in a second. But Deka, what was your initial thoughts when Isak wasn't there, because I think everybody predicted what was going to happen and think this is just going to add fuel to the fire.
Yeah, I think it's funny. In the moment, I was really concerned. When it happens. When I seen he wasn't in the squad and hadn't gotten off the bus, I thought, "Oh my God, this is bad." Because I knew he had went to Glasgow, as you mentioned. The whole flight went there, so of course he was there. I think that they were in a bit of a lose-lose situation to many degrees, because I think Howe's being truthful in that he wouldn't have played anyway, so he would have sat on the bench. Or sorry, he wouldn't have sat on the bench. He was sat in the stands for the full game. So I think the cameras would have been on him every time the ball went out to play. And I think that's why Howe sent him home. However, I think that's by sending him home added even more fuel to the fire. So it's a kind of a lose. For me, what would have been the best, and I appreciate, I'm nobody, is if he's going to sit in the stands, sit them on the bench and put him in the squad and bring him on with 5 minutes to go. And I don't think anyone talks about anything. And 5 minutes isn't hurting anybody. So that's what I would have done to stop all speculation. Put him in the squad. Now, what I'm meaning by that is, has he sent them home because, and I know Howe did not say this in the comments, but has he sent them home because he is actually affected by this speculation? And I'm not saying heads turn, but is he actually concerned about this? Because to me, if I was the manager, to stop the speculation, hire him in the squad and put him on the bench. I just feel that just takes it away.
Yeah, I agree. And do you know what it is? If it had been, let's say, a Premier League game or a competitive game, and you've got the issue of the camera panning to Isak and the commentators constantly talking about it, I get it. It was pre-season. It was available through Newcastle United's channel and Celtic's channel. Yeah. Yes, you might have the fallout afterwards, but then and there, in that moment, you're not going to get that. If you protect your player, which, let's be honest, we failed to do before the cup final, which we mentioned not long ago, we didn't protect Isak, and in regards to the speculation which was going on at that moment, we wheeled him out in front of a full press conference and went, ask as many questions as you want about Isak's future. So to then come out now and say, oh, we're trying to protect him, what have you learned from your mistakes at that point? Is that what you've done? You've just got to flip a coin and think, God knows, because it's two similar situations where it's all speculation in regards to your star striker, two different outcomes.
Yeah, I think the point you made there about it not being like live on Sky or something, or a Super Sunday game is a really good point. That, yes, absolutely. If he was sitting in the stands, you can imagine Sky would have had a field day, right? And I suppose maybe that television channel isn't getting watched by anyone except Newcastle and Celtic fans. So yeah, it's a good point, like, to be fair. And so I think what's your thoughts on him not being there, getting sent home?
Well, what we'll do first, we'll go through the quotes, because I don't know which way to take these quotes at the moment. I read them 1 minute and I'm thinking, that's all fine. Then I read the next minute, I go, oh shit, like, it doesn't sound good. It's very hard to interpret quotes. It really is. And let's be honest with you, Eddie's demeanor didn't look great on TV either, which it's not going to be after you just have 4-0 defeat. Of course it's not. But from what I've seen, even in pre-season, he doesn't look too happy. Like, he doesn't. So let's go through the quotations first of all. So this is from Keith Downey, who he put a couple of posts out after the match, but he later on in the evening summarised a few things, and he went through a couple more comments which I had made. So this is from Keith. He says, Eddie Howe quotes on Alexander Isak and his Newcastle future. So this is from Eddie. Yes, I've had discussions with him, but that's not abnormal. I respect the player's career and how short it is. Alex has been really good. He's trained really well, and I realise there'll be noise around him. So just to stop at that point, if you're just reading that quote by itself, Deka, to me, that sounds like Isak is interested in a potential move to somebody like Liverpool, right? Which, I put this in our group earlier, like, a player of Alexander Isak's quality will be looking at his future and thinking, right, what can I win at this football club compared to what I could win in the near future with somebody like Liverpool? And I think, even as Newcastle fans, you have to be honest. Liverpool are going to win more silverware in the next 5 years than what Newcastle are. Okay, that's odds on. Okay, so don't, people watching, don't shout us that. Like, you definitely think otherwise. So at that point, there's been a conversation, hasn't it? Like you mentioned, there's definitely been a conversation between player manager about his future at this football club. Whether that's potentially leaving the club, or whether that's, well, if you don't want to lose us, then offer us the money that somebody else will be. That's the way I'm taking that. What's your thoughts on that one, first of all?
Pretty much exactly that. Them quotes tell me that, he understands how short a player's career is. He understands a player wants to achieve. And I think I'm quite guilty of this, that I always look at our club, total rose-tinted glasses a lot, and I always say, well, why would you want to play anywhere else? We're doing this, we're doing that. Look at the fans we've got. Isak didn't want to play for Newcastle United when he grew up. Like, he did not. Like, do you know what I mean? He's come here to I'm not saying stepping stone, I don't want to say that, but go to the next level in his career. And you're right? I think in terms of how we are, right, whether we like it or not, PSR, maybe people will blame, we're not in a position where we're going to be able to compete with Liverpool for the X amount of years coming. And he's probably thinking, if I did go now, I could have 4 or 5 years at this club in my prime and win everything, win Champions League, win the league again, etc. So I get it. And also, financially be rewarded for that as well, which he's currently not, probably, right?
Well, yes and no. So in regards to us as a football club, yes, he's up there as the highest. But in regards to his worth,
market value,
probably not. Yeah, no, probably not. He's not getting true market value, is he? Far from it. But once again, that's a discussion about our wage structure, which we mentioned on a couple of podcasts ago, and I'm sure we'll probably mention again tomorrow night on the live stream with the All Smile and Faces podcast. Just go through the rest of the questions. Quotation, because there's quite a few. Eddie goes on to say, I chose to send him home. The last thing Alex wants, if he is not playing, is to be sat in the stand and under that scrutiny. Then, if he was going to play today, we mutually agreed he shouldn't be. Sorry, if he wasn't going to play today, then we mutually agreed he shouldn't be here. Keith then asks, has there been any approach for Alex? Eddie says no, there's been no formal approach. We have a few players who are irreplaceable. Your top players are so hard to find, so hard to recruit, and so hard to develop. So when you have them, you need to treasure them. Of course, we're desperate to keep him as part of our team. I'm reading that as Eddie trying to look at those above him and say he needs a new contract. That's how I'm reading that.
Yeah, possibly. And I think also maybe if those quotes, which they will, of course, get back to Isak, he's going to see them somewhere, right? That Howe's also publicly pulling for him, and that, like, you're one of our top players when you need to be rewarded, etc., etc. So I think that's what I think it is from Howe. He's obviously having to come out and say he's our best player, or one of our best players, and we want him here, we'll love him, etc. And also those upstairs, get your checkbook out for him.
Exactly that. Finally, he says, I think it's difficult for me to ever give 100% clarity on a player. I'd never do that. All I can say is Alex is happy at Newcastle. He loves the players, the staff, the team. I've never had any issues with him, and I'm confident he's going to be here at the start of the season. He's then asked if he expects him to travel to Singapore for the next part of our preseason, and he says, absolutely, yes. So now, the last two quotes, that flips, doesn't it? So it goes from what I believe to be quite negative to then, well, I'm fully confident that he's going to be a Newcastle player next season, and of course he's coming to Singapore with us as well. So I think this is why I'm having a difficult time trying to summarize and assess the whole fallout from after it, because I haven't got a clue. Like, I really haven't got a clue.
I think for me, right, and I haven't done this yet, and I probably should have. I would like to have, if it's see him say the words. Does that make sense? Because sometimes you especially the first one about like a player's career, and you don't want to stand in the way or whatever it was. Like, he may, I don't know. It depends his body language and how he's actually answering the question, right? Because as written down on paper, it sounds pretty negative, right? For me, again, I was, as I say, I think when it happened and he wasn't in the squad and he went home, I was really worried. Last night when I was thinking about it, I thought, you know what it is? If he is on the plane to Singapore, we're okay. I think that's really important. If he is not on that plane, though, then it's really time to worry. I think that the plane to Singapore is huge.
I think now
Howe sounds confident, right? Howe sounds confident. So
I think what's happened now, I think, do you know what is it? If Liverpool had still been there, shown interest in Isak, I'd probably have a different opinion right now. I think that now Liverpool have then gone and had a bid accepted now for Ekitike, which is what believed to be 70 mil plus. I think that rules Liverpool out right now. I don't think Liverpool will come back because that's a lot of money that you're going to be spending on two strikers. So I think that's completely gone. So I don't think we've got any fear of losing Isak right now, but I think we're going to have to improve a few things in regards to player negotiation when it comes to contract now, because I think we've put ourselves in a position where we've kind of dallied out on the contract negotiations. I think everybody was expecting something to happen in this summer with he's like getting an improved deal just to prevent these sort of rumors.
100%.
And it hasn't happened. And this has snowballed into what we are seeing right now. But like I said, with Liverpool moving on, accepting the fact that we've said he's not for sale, they've gone on the next target. They've got the next target. So I think Isak may have, I might be completely wrong. Yeah, this is just my personal opinion for those that are watching and listening. I think Isak may have possibly had his head turned slightly. Not necessarily in regards to a fallout where you're going, well, you've stopped us, blah, blah, blah. I don't think Isak that sort of character to throw his toys out the pram or anything like that. But I think the interest is being flattering for him. And I think he may feel as if now, because we didn't even enter a conversation about the potential of him moving on to Liverpool, I think he might have taken a bit of a huff with that one. Because if his chance of Liverpool moving to Liverpool is gone now, will that ever come back? Will he ever get this chance again to move on to a club that could potentially be Premier League winners again? I think we've kind of put a hurdle in his way, and rightly so. The club's right to do that. Okay, of course they are, but I think it might just be a bit of a bruised ego for a week or two. Then hopefully just back to business with him.
Well, I also wanted to add that it's been well documented that the club had agreed that they were going to go in talks about a contract and stuff, and then by all accounts, Mitchell said no, like we don't need to do that. So that arrangement apparently that if we're going to go and talk about contract didn't happen. So if that is true, and I read that from quite a few places, Athletic had it in and all sorts. If that's the case, that's point one he ain't going to be happy about. And you're right that if Liverpool, if I know it's not formal, and someone's been very clever within that football club to start leaking things and getting the word out to try and unsettle them, which clearly it has. I think that you're right. I think Liverpool have come too early, and they've now spunk the money on Ekitike, and that's it done, right? I just don't want our star striker being unsettled a matter of weeks going into the new season. It is not the frame of mind that we need him to be in. Now, what can fix that probably is promises moving forward in a new contract. Probably that could solve it. But the club, yet again, for me, they act incredibly slow on anything, and that's what worries us. Like this Isak stuff. I'm telling you now, right? Well, people might laugh because they go, "Well, they didn't do it for Trent," but I just feel that other clubs, right, when they've got a star man, would have. I suppose in a way we did, didn't we? We did offer him a new contract. I just feel that when there's a risk of losing someone of another club, you've got to then step up and just. And I appreciate there's a structure you've got to stay within, but if you don't do it, you're at the risk of this situation where all of a sudden he's not traveling. We're sending him home. The speculation. You've got to get him tied down and reward him. I think
these sort of situations they snowball massively, and it's always a snowball of negativity as well around the football club. Whether that's across the fan base, whether that's from external sources as well. Like we know exactly what we're going to see from the media outlets over the next week. It's once again it's going to be Isak stories, left, right, and centre. Of course you're going to have that.
It'll unsettle the players as well. Do you think the actual players that will have, like see your Tonali's, and them will be still thinking, which Alex was the other day. Do you know what I mean? Like it just does not help squad harmony in any way, which is a worry, you know.
Yeah, I get it. Do you know what? From the whole situation, I'm feeling annoyed and frustrated, and I'm not even involved in it, apart from being a fan from it. So God knows what those close to the football club are feeling like as well, especially somebody like Eddie Howe. That's got all this. I feel as if Eddie Howe is spinning a lot of plates at the moment, and trying to keep numerous people happy, including the fan base. And I think he's just not getting the help that he needs or the backing that he needs. I just think, like you said, we've been very, very slow. And yes, I know what we'll say. Oh, Newcastle have missed out on 5-6 targets, things like that. Always take that with a pinch of salt, okay? Because I think Newcastle's name gets used quite a lot in regards to player negotiations and things like that. The likes of, I don't know, Cunha, Mbemo, things like that. Like, yes, Newcastle may have had slight interest in them, but was never a formal approach for that player. So I wouldn't say those chose to go to another club. Yes, Pedro 100% chose to go to another club, but I think that was written in the stars anyway. You could see that happening all day long. I think the current situation which we're in with Trafford at the moment is quite embarrassing for us as a football club. I think, how long has it been? About 18 months we've been trying to get this player.
Yeah, too long.
It's
too long.
It's came out now that Man City have a buyout option, which we're led to believe to be around about 40 million quid on that one. And fair enough, if Newcastle don't value Trafford at 40 million quid, then fine. Just fucking move on. Just move on to something else. Stop dallying about. Like, just move on to something else.
If that's what Burnley are waiting for, because they know City have got that clause in, then we need to just pack up and move and go, okay, well, we're not going to prepare. And that's fine, by the way. I don't want them to spend 40 million, if I'm being honest. But you would know that is the fee quite early on in negotiations, right? And I still feel that, and I could be wrong here, right? But I can't recall ever, right? Before people knew about this clause from City, right? Just park that for a second. When we were interested in Trafford, 40 million was never mentioned in a month of Sundays. It's now only when now people know about this clause, people are saying, oh, well, City always had this clause. Aye, but if we had acted earlier, City had no interest in Trafford back then. They didn't need Trafford, but we've waited that long and kicked the can along the road so far. Now Man City actually do need another goalkeeper. So
it's
now
only since the rumours Edison's future have came to light, that these links with Trafford going back to City is a thing. And I've seen a few things from City fans now, because on the Gallagher Shots Twitter account, I follow a few Man City accounts that we'll work with over the seasons, doing like match previews and things like that with them. And a few of them have been mentioning it for a week or so about like Trafford potentially going back to City. And you're thinking, why has it took us so long? Like, if you want to show interest in the player, and if you definitely want this player, just make it happen. Like, it's I don't. It's frustrating. It really is frustrating. And if it's not, like I said, if you're not willing to go to £40 million, and yes, I get it, £40 million is a lot of money for a Championship goalkeeper. It's a lot of money. And what was it? Did Pickford went for 30 million? Was it from Sunderland to Everton?
Yes,
thereabouts,
was a long time ago as well. Long time ago.
Was that season that Sunderland being relegated as well?
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
I'm sure it was. Which was a long time ago. So 10 million on top of that, it doesn't seem like a huge amount, but I get it. £40 million. It's still a lot of money for us to invest in a goalkeeper, especially when you've got somebody like Nick Pope and Dubravka, which I think are a decent 1 and 2. I really do. But I think we've got other places on the field in regards to centre back, which heavily needs investment as well. I just feel as if we're focusing on one target at a time, and whether that's the likes of the structure behind the scenes at the football club. Mitchell be gone. Is he gone now? Or is he be due to go about now? Is he?
Howe's been back. Didn't even have a summer off. He said that in his last interview, which we'll probably cover more on Monday. But he basically said that I've had no time off. My phone blew up, and I'm had to come back and basically act as a sporting director. And now he's doing everything. And it surprised me, actually, the comments. And he seemed quite annoyed, I think, in them as well, in terms of like what Mitchell did. Mitchell just packed up and left. And I think, and again, we're 4 years, into this project, right? 4 years into this project, and off the field, we're still a bit of a mess. Like, if I'm being honest, we still haven't got the things set up correctly in the way they should be. We still got Howe and his cousin running around doing everything, program selling the lot. It's just not on. Like, I'm sorry, it's not. And I know, listen, there's a lot of fans, right, that'll be saying, we've lost out on 5 targets, we've lost 4-0, we're losing Isak, the club's a disgrace. And you've got, right the other side, everyone's happy as hell, and it's absolutely fine. It's not our fault we couldn't get these players, and it's great, it's only pre-season, it's fine. I'm probably somewhere in the middle of that. Like,
I agree, yeah.
Do you know, I'm more in the middle in that, because I've seen, I went, you go on X, right, and it was literally from, we're the worst club in human history, to then I've seen other people saying, how dare you complain, and everything's absolutely fine, and like real happy clapping stuff going on, like what Mark does. But I'm probably more in the middle. Do you know what it is actually? It is a bit shit. Like there is questions should be asked really of what's going on. But I'm not toys out the pram scenario. I think it'll be fine. But I don't think there's any harm in questioning the way it's being run a little bit. Like,
I fully agree, Deka, and let's not shy away from the fact what Eddie Howe said at the end of last season. We want business to be done early and quickly. It's not happened. It's not happened. It's taken 18 months to do one deal. We still haven't finalized it. Like it's mental. And do you know what it is? I'll just go back from what I've seen, and I know I haven't seen much of Eddie Howe because the players only came back last week. He's not being upbeat. Like he's not being upbeat in his interviews, and I think that's telling. I think Eddie normally keeps his cards close to his chest unless there's a reason he needs to show his hand.
Yeah.
We saw him do it with Mitchell at the start of last season, pre-season. Once again, another shambles of a pre-season for him. He mentioned that he needs to know the relationship and what he has and what his role at this football club is. I think we're back in a sort of similar situation now. Like exact same situation, 12 months on, and Eddie Howe seems to be doing everything. And we don't know, is Eddie Howe demanding that control? Like this is the thing, we don't know. Like there's rumors not long ago Mitchell was leaving because of Eddie Howe. Like we don't know. Like and this is what is becoming quite annoying.
Yeah, because the communication hasn't been great either. So we don't, as you say, we're kind of guessing. Like, there's just a few things I've watched and read over the last few days are saying that Eddie Howe was all planned to go on holiday. Everything was discussed after the last game of the season, and then he got a phone call saying Mitchell's leaving. And you need to come back when he's in. He's like, totally out the blue. Was not. Now, can I add here? When that announcement of Mitchell happened, I actually thought that was Howe's doing of like, oh, I want more control. Mitchell's leaving, and I'm sitting here going, great, Howe's back and going. Now, from listening to what Howe said, that actually was not the case at all. He was totally understanding he's going to go on. And let's be fair here as well. He wasn't well towards the end of last season, right? And he said, I need to have the summer off. And all of a sudden now he hasn't had a day off. He's been hours and hours and hours trying to work on players. And I just feel that it ain't great. Like, it just ain't great. So, and no offense to Howie either. How isn't the sporting director? And no disrespect to Howe at all, by the way. But that isn't his job. And we need someone in that role to be able to do that, I feel.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, really, Deka, when you said there's a middle ground in all of this. And I've seen exactly the same as what you have. We see now in our Gallagher Shot WhatsApp group, we're seeing a Telegram group as well, which members have access to as well. That there needs to be some sort of midpoint at this and think, right, everything's not all rosy, like far from it. And it's not the end of the world, because our whole point of this transfer window and what our aim was to keep your best players, similar to what it was last transfer window as well. And it seems like, yes, despite this fallout with Isak and what's happening at this moment in time, we're yet to see. But he's still a Newcastle United player, and I'm still confident that he will be a Newcastle player as well, come the start of the season. But something's not right. There's an issue behind the scenes, and we need to get with shit in order. Like, let's be honest. We need to get people in positions in this football club for a longer period than 12 months. Yeah. Like, that's the frustrating thing. We need to get everything all ready, everything to go, so everything just goes seamlessly in regards to preparation for buying players. I said this a few weeks ago, Deka. I said on the Monday show, I said, do you think the fact that Mitchell is leaving will have any sort of impact in regards to player negotiations and getting players into the football club? I think we're seeing it right now. I think we're seeing it.
Yeah, and I think at the time I said no, I didn't think it would, but 100% there's a void there. There's something missing, and I don't want Howe to have to do it. Howe is about, do you want to play to Singapore, fly to to where we're going for our pre-season. So I need him, really should be concentrating on that. He is now split into 4 different categories, Howe, and that isn't good for him either. So yeah, listen, there's a long way to go. There's a long way to go. I think it's just, isn't it so frustrating how fast football can change, that you sign Alanga, we're all excited. The following morning, Ekitike, we're going to bid 80 million. We're like, hang on, we're going to make a statement. To within a week's time, we've lost 4-0. Isak doesn't play. Ekitike is going somewhere else. Like, it's just
Trafford's going to Man City.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Like, and to be fair, actually, that sometimes keeps us on the good side of the fence. Of, do you know what it is? Actually, we might be sitting next week going, "Hey, we've done this, we've done that. Isak's got a contract." Blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So it can change fast. It's just something doesn't. The garden's not as good as Dan Ashford. Let's put it that way.
I think what I want to end it on as well, and once again we'll probably talk this in a bit more detail on tomorrow's show, which will be going live about anywhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. For those that want to join us, is we've had quite a couple of discussions about second choice strikers at this football club. And Azula got his chance to start up top yesterday. What were your thoughts on his overall performance? Because he got in some dangerous areas, but I think it's very hard to judge because collectively it wasn't great.
Yeah, no, you just can't. You know what I mean? Listen, it was a bad day at the office for everyone. And I think again, when someone's as young as he is and as raw as he is, he could play 10 games in a row up front. Five, he might look absolutely invincible. The other 5, he look absolute dog shit. It's because he's young, he's raw, and also the team around him, especially when you're a striker, the team around you has to be providing, you has to be playing well. But it's a funny one, right? Because part of us feels that result could work in our favour, as daft as it sounds, in that those upstairs have to look at the weaknesses and the sort of the lack of squad that we have. And I think we know we need another striker, no question about it. Because I don't think Asula is ready to come in and be number 2. I don't.
Come on in,
I like him,
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Well, I don't know why, but I do have nightmares thinking he'll be the one. Like
it's heading that direction, mate. You can see it coming. You can see what's happening.
Yeah, I just don't think he is ready, but I do love him though. I really do, and I think that he definitely play a part next season. But would I feel confident him basically just being the Wilson of next season? No, I'm not. We need another striker.
I think that I mentioned earlier on, Pope's era probably summarised yesterday's afternoon, but I was wrong. There was one thing which definitely summarised Newcastle United's afternoon as a whole. Well, the last 24 hours really is the graphic designs that the club were putting out. Have you seen anything like that before?
Well, I have a feeling we may talk about this tomorrow, and Bessie's going to go, "What do you care about?" But hey. I honestly, I swear to you here, right? I hadn't seen any comments in the group, hadn't seen anything anywhere, right? And I went on Facebook for the first time, and it popped up, obviously, and I think I put it in the group, right? Everyone was laughing, going, "Oh, Deka, you're an hour late," or whatever. 3 times I clicked on the Newcastle United to make sure it was the club's actual site
on every social media platform.
Yeah, this has got to be a meme thing or something. Like, mate, I'm lost for words. That is bad. Like, it's really bad.
Well, I thought, because I'm sure there was one preseason where they'd done something like this. Then, as the Premier League started, they changed it into like the proper sort of stuff. But it wasn't as bad as what we're seeing yesterday. And I know it's just like people will be listening and watching this. Well, like similar to what Bessie doesn't go. Well, we asked about. It's like it's just a picture, just a photo at the end of the day. It's not changing anything. But like in the modern age that we're living in, it's huge. It really is. It's huge. The output that you put in. And if people haven't seen this yet, I think the best one to probably look at is the half-time one, and it's a picture of Kieran Trippier, and it just is 2-0, like literally 2-0 as words, not numbers, just is 2-0. And go and look at the quote tweets and the replies, not just from Newcastle fans, globally. Go and look at that. And I thought it was just something which we saw yesterday. I thought this was the first time I'd seen it, Deka. But then my Adam had put in the group saying, "Oh, they've been doing this for a little while. Go and look at the women's football announcements." There it is. Deka's been on screen there now.
Hey,
it's like I'm giving it to me mum and told me mum to do it. But like the girls, like the women have been doing this as well, Deka. And just you've probably not seen this in the group, but just go in the media in the Gallagher Shots group and scroll across, and you'll see my Adam has posted one of the girls. It's straight after I posted the 2-0 one about Kieran Trippier.
Oh yes, yeah. Is it the Molly one?
The girls.
Oh,
yes.
Molly.
Click on that and put that on screen for her.
Oh my lord.
Holly Pike signs.
What on earth is this?
It's wow. Great. No, as you've got to laugh about it because yes, it's at the end of the day, it's nothing. It changes nothing in life. But come on, come on.
That looks really like my daughter. Like she's 10, right? she like comes up to me and says, "Oh, you seen this, Dad?" And she will do stuff like that, and it'll just be like worded so poorly. It's yeah, that's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, I'm actually stunned by that, to be honest with you.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's mad.
Someone's
But
getting
anyway.
paid a lot of money, you know.
Well, do you know what it is, right? I thought this
Didn't
at
see
first.
that one. It's funny.
I put that in.
That is
I think,
amazing.
do you know what it is? I think the issue is that the club have openly and advertised likes of graphic designer roles at the club before, and we know somebody that's applied for that and didn't get the role. I don't think this is the graphic designer issue. I think this is somebody in the club saying, "This is what we want. This is what you're going to give away," and not really having that designer free reign as to what they want to do. I think that's going to be the issue. Because if you're a designer, and do you know what it is? I would put myself as like amateur at best, and I can produce better stuff than that. So I think as a designer, you're probably putting that out, going, "Fuck me!" Like people are going to associate that with me,
with my work. Yeah, I mean,
that's not going to be portfolio.
I'm pretty astounded that if that's been, let's say it was the guy's idea, right? And he's going, right, I've got these 4 options for you. What do you want with media stuff to look like? And they go, "Oh, that one's amazing."
Deka, I hope this person isn't in control of making the new crest. Newcastle United.
That's it. Block caps. Thanks for coming.
It's not even in block caps, mate.
It's strange. Like, I'm sorry. Like, and I know there'll be people watching. Probably, well, it might turn off by now, but they'll be like, "We don't care about a graphic. Like, we're not bothered." But to me, I don't know. It's the identity of your club, isn't it? In terms of, I don't know. For me, I am one of them people, and to me, that's just, it's terrible. Like, it's
there was a great tweet that somebody sent in to us, because I took the piss a little bit at the club, and the club are pretty pissed off with us because I quote tweeted straight away and saying, did the whole graphic design team ring in sick today? Then somebody had replied to it, and they basically said, "Let's just remember that the club are embarrassed to put the club crest anyway because it doesn't fit in today's market media world, but they're happy to put that shit out."
That's and very true as well, and very true.
It is. It is.
Yeah. It's
but
mad,
honestly, there's bigger things to worry about. But I think
yeah.
it was a great way to end this one, because it's comical. It really is. Honestly, if you don't laugh about it, you're just thinking this is just a batshit football club.
Well, I think that, truthfully, here, I think if Mike Ashley was still here and that was our graphics, everyone would be like, "Typical Mike Ashley. Look at that." You know what I mean? Cheap crap. Look shite.
Yeah.
But because of where we are, and people won't see it. But that to me screams amateur, like.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, if you're listening to audio, just go and have a look on the club's social media from yesterday, because it's outstanding. It really is outstanding, and not in a good way.
No, I was going to say it's not outstanding in that way.
I'm crying at that. But yeah, thanks everybody who has joined us for this one. As it is available across YouTube and all your audio downloads as well. If you do want to give a bit back to this podcast, it is just $2.99 a month to become a member. Like I mentioned a couple of times in this one, you do get access to the Telegram group as well, which is always a great place to just have a chat with like-minded Newcastle United fans as well. We feature in there quite a bit as well, and drop in and put a couple of comments in there as well. If not, just like the video, become a subscriber. That's all we'll ask for. We'll see you on Monday. Like I said, keep an eye out on the social media. Check Instagram. We'll put a post on Instagram in regards to what time we'll be going live. I think we'll have a full house tomorrow as well, Deka, I believe. It's all
I think
full,
so, mate.
tomorrow.
Yeah, all full, yeah.
We'll see you there. We'll chat more about this, and we'll see if we can match what the club are putting out in regards to content when it comes to graphic designs.
We should change it to that, like, for a joke. To have a picture of Mark.
The thumbnail, just going to say podcast.
Definitely do that for Monday.
See you later.